have joining the meeting Trustee Josh Girth, Trustee Dee Stone, Trustee Andrew Pappas. Our fiscal officer will be joining us shortly, Mr. Dietz. Steve Sievers, Assistant Administrator for Operations. And again, my name is Vicki Earhart. At this point, I am going to turn the meeting over to Mr. Girth. As I said, the board is being asked to retire to executive session and will return approximately 5:30 for the public portion of the agenda. Mr. Girth.
Thank you, Vicki. Good evening, everyone. At this point, I would move to retire to executive session to consider the appointment or employment of a public employee or official as permitted by the Ohio Revised Code.
Second.
Mr. Pappas? Mr. Pappas, you're muted. Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes, we'll take Andrew's thumbs up as agreement.
Yes, thank you.
All right. We'll be back.
Hello. Hi, yes, I'm sitting, trying to listen. They're still in executive sessions. I would go to the Anderson Township.org website, and then the right hand side, it says Township Trustee Meeting, March 18th. Click on that, and it's got a WEBEX link. Let's see, I already switched. On the right hand side is that like a calendar. There's a list. You're Township.org. Okay. I'll put you on my speaker. Yeah, click on that. I don't know if that's what you use, so I hope to connect communicate to that. PJ, if there was something separate for PJ, should have said it. I hope that's how you'll be able to connect, and you'll unmute it, and I'm sure you do. Yeah, I'm just seeing a page on the front that says Board of Trustees meeting. The board is currently in executive session. Please stand by. Well, start at 5 o'clock, so. Okay. Good luck. You'll do great. You'll hear my standing ovation. Thanks. Bye.
Just like what's going on. One of the interesting things about today's weather is that it stays steady. And most of the day, together with the over, it's triggered the over. There's always people themselves probably well. It's accessible. Done a nice job of taking advantage of it. Here's the three that are as we go back over to 17, a treacherous hold of Westwood just you're sitting back and it's all about it's easy for so isn't it? We have to jump home there and say, well, pretty soft. So guess what? Because he trickles on down the hill here. So steep on its edge. It's a great question. I didn't feel like that was a conversation they had. Struck everyone. So it's something going on. Just got a little sticker. Sometimes you gotta be careful.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the March 18th meeting of the Anderson Township Board of Township Trustees. My name is Vicki Earhart and I serve as your Township Administrator. The agenda for today's meeting is on our website at andersontownship.org. The meeting is being conducted telephonically and through video conferencing due to the ongoing COVID pandemic. I do wish to point out that the Board of Trustees is just returning from executive session. Before I turn it back over to the board, I do want to note that the public will have an opportunity to speak during public forum, which is later in our agenda, and also introduce some of the individuals that are involved in this meeting today. We have Trustee Chair Josh Kurth, Trustee Vice Chair Dee Stone, Trustee Andrew Pappas, our Fiscal Officer Ken Dietz. Other personnel involved are Law Director Margaret Comey, Assistant Administrator for Operations Steve Sievers, Assistant Administrator for Human Resources Suzanne Parker, Planning and Zoning Director Paul Drury, Hamilton County Sheriff's Lieutenant Dan McElroy, Fire Chief Rick Martin, Public Works Director Eric Lugenbuehl, our Facilities Manager Mark Magna, our Fiscal Office Manager Debbie Hucker, Planner 1 PJ Ginty, and Administrative Assistant Molly Moorfield, who is recording this meeting and will be preparing minutes for the board to consider later on. I hope I didn't miss any other staff who may have joined us recently, but want to thank the public for joining us at this meeting. And at this point, I'm going to turn it over to Trustee Chair Josh Kurth.
Thank you, Vicki. Good evening, everyone. With that, I move to return to executive session.
Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mrs. Stone?
Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Everyone would join us, please, in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Move to adopt the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Pappas?
Yes.
Mr. Stone? Mrs. Stone?
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Girth?
Yes. First up, we've got a presentation, our annual tree committee presentation. So I'm not sure who's starting off, but go for it.
Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Josh. This is PJ Ginty with Planning and Zoning. On behalf of the tree committee, I do want to introduce Tim Kloppenberg and Joe Wilging, who will be making the presentation this evening. If there's any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. So Tim, Joe, thanks for volunteering.
And PJ, you're showing the the
You
slides on your
will,
screen?
yes. Let's do that right now.
As soon as you get those up, well, while you're getting those up, I would like to thank the trustees for all the support they've given us all through the years and continued support as we move forward. It's been very helpful. So, great. All right, next slide, please. So you can see the big part of what we're trying to do is support sound tree management and enhance the quality of life here. And as such, there are a lot of things we routinely do, which we'll talk about at the end, but we're going to spend most of our time talking about the Arboretum. And that's at the Heritage Center. As trustees, you've planted a couple trees there already. Being certified as an Arboretum is an international certification, so it really gets some attention. And basically, it's a tree museum where we track the trees and keep track of them. And there are various levels. We applied for the lower level, level 1, which is at least 25 different species, open to the public, and you have to have an organizational group. So we formed a subcommittee from the tree committee to do that. Next slide. So we had the initial 25, and then as we looked, we found a few more. In the last 2 years, excuse me, in the last 2 years, we planted 15 additional species, many of them small. We've worked real hard this winter developing a master plan, and that's really to guide our efforts over the next several years. So you should have a copy of that. If you haven't had a chance, at least glance through it so you can see the general guidance that we're using. And Joe Wilgang and I did most of the tying it together, but a lot of people had their input on it. We presented it to the tree committee, and so these are our marching orders as we go forward. So next slide, please. So what we're doing, a variety of things. Probably the biggest single thing we're doing right now is removing some of the invasives from the edge of the woods. And Jason on our committee has taken a strong lead on that. As we do that, we're hoping we're going to find new species popping up that have been crowded out by the honeysuckle. So we'll keep an eye on those. Part of our plan is to create a buffer zone. We'll show you on the map here in a moment. To sort of ease from the lawn into the mature woods. And we have a pretty good sized list of starter plants that, that are plants that we want to consider. And we have formed a selection committee, and the committee has at least one certified arborist, one landscape architect, and one master gardener on it. So we're blessed with some strong credentials. And we will have you as trustees plant 2 trees this year since you didn't get a chance to plant one last year. And we're going to be on the garden tour. Next slide, please, PJ. So this is what it currently looks like. And you've all been at the site, so I won't talk about that too much. But all the circles are the numbered species that we have. And where there's more than one, like there are 5 or 6 good pin oaks, we chose one. And you can see a lot of those are along the edge of the woods, and quite a few are between the parking lot and Forest Road. Now, did Joe get on? Joe, did you get on?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague Joe and let him continue then.
Hi everyone. PJ, next slide, please. So I helped create this site plan to meet our vision statement goals. The site is approximately just under 2 acres. And then it's surrounded by about 3 acres of green space. So we recommended a strategy to infill the existing beds and to layer plant material to increase the density on the site. And then we also came up with a plan to kind of strategically place plant specimen trees in the open lawn. We also identified opportunities to support the Heritage Center events by redesigning the gazebo landscape and set parameters to the design, such as maintaining the open view of the house for photos. Our strategic plan lays out some short-term project goals and long-term project goals. The immediate projects identified focus on building support, restoring the site, and documenting the existing trees. And as part, we identified 2 more planting locations for the trustees tree planting, which are adjacent to the large patio. They're the 2 black trees shown on the diagram. Can I take any questions about the Arboretum at this time? PJ, let's move on to the next slide then. We just wanted to highlight the other accomplishments of the committee. We're celebrating 12 years as a township of being recognized by Tree City USA. This year, this 2020, we planted 62 total trees, removed 45, and spent just over $3 per capita on trees. Next slide, please. We also are celebrating our 7th year of receiving the Tree City USA Growth Award. We're recognized for our efforts in acquiring new open space, our tree planting projects. PJ slide, please. We also had 3 new members join the tree committee in 2020. We also continued our awards program for highlighting trees in the township. This is a summary of our tree planting program. We provided a variety of different trees, both native and flowering. There were some favorites. This is the flowering cherry and the maple, but we planted a total of 62 trees this year with the street tree planting program. In total, between 2009 and 2020, we planted a total of 741 trees as part of this program. Next slide, please. Our Great Tree Award winners were announced. We have a bur oak on Lawyer, a golden rain tree on Rose Tree Lane, and the Eastern Red Cedar, a very old cedar at the nursery at Clough and Hunley that were recognized. And we have some planned activities this year, such as the Arbor Day observance on April 30th. We also are going to release some insight articles and send letters to tree recipients as part of the tree planting program to instruct them on pruning and tree care. We're sending some members of our committee to the Tree Commission Academy, and we'll be implementing the tree maintenance plan that we developed last year. We're celebrating 12 years of being recognized as a township, a Tree City USA township. And then this is a list of all of our members on the committee. We welcome Piper and Ted and Ron to our committee. Ron specifically is a certified arborist, and welcome. So that's all we had. Can I ask for any additional questions about the Arboretum or our the summary of our tasks?
This is D Stone. I don't have a question. I just wanted to commend you all for your work. I mean, I know we take our trees very seriously in this township, and I think having this Arboretum is a nice feather in our cap. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I second that. Andrew, you're the trustee liaison. Anything you want to add?
Well, I was going to comment during my comments, but since you asked, yeah, I attend all these meetings, and it always amazes me the knowledge and passion that our members have for trees. And it's just truly something that goes probably unseen by the majority of residents. But the work at the Arboretum, I hope everyone gets by there and has a chance to check it out as it evolves. And that's one place where you can really put your attention on and say, wow, I'm so glad that people volunteered. And that's the main thing to remember. This is a resident volunteer committee, and they're doing it solely out of the interest of making Anderson Township really a great place to live and a great place to be. And I cannot thank these people enough. They donate countless hours of their time and really do it just for the love of trees and for the love of the township. So they have my utmost respect and appreciation.
Thank you. And Andrew, thank you, because everybody else doesn't know it maybe, but Andrew showed up with a spade and he worked hard planting trees with us.
Practicing because I was thinking that maybe I could dig a hole and Josh might show up and fall into it, but that didn't happen. But it was actually a pleasure, and I look forward to doing it as often as possible.
Just real quick, and I know you mentioned that we're going the Arboretum's going to be open on the garden tour this year.
Yes.
I'm looking at my calendar and it should be in here. When is that? Does anybody know?
June 13th.
Thank you. Okay, everyone get it on your calendars, June 13th. Thank you.
Anything else?
Thanks, Tim and Joe, for presenting.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you for your work on this.
All right. If nothing else, we'll move on to public forum, where we set aside time every meeting for residents to address the board. So if anybody online would like to do so, they may do so at this time, assuming that we don't have any technical glitches. I know there's always a question of whether or not people are able to unmute and speak. So obviously there's a chat function, and you could certainly put your name in there. Or you can send us an email, call us, meet with us, go on Facebook, any of the other plentiful ways to communicate with this board.
Mr. Girth, I'll add that for those that are on phone, they don't have the option of that chat feature. If they'd like to contact us, we can try our best to unmute them, or they can reconnect, hang up and dial back in, and that will ensure that they are unmuted. But they can always contact us at 688-8604 during the meeting as well, and we'll do our best to get them the opportunity to speak. Again, 688-8604.
Thank you. We post Andrew's cell phone up on the screen. All right, we will then close the public forum, move on to trustee comments. Andrew D., anything?
I don't have anything. I'm just stay the course, everyone. I know some of us, including me, have gotten a vaccine, but it's no time to let down. Wear your mask, wash your hands. That's all I have to say.
I don't have anything. I am looking forward to, I hope that our next regular board meeting will be in person. I know we discussed that a little bit tonight, but I hope that it seems like we're rounding the bend on the COVID pandemic. And hopefully we can start to have our meetings in public. Of course, we'll practice social distancing and we'll continue to be diligent, but it would be nice to see everyone in person again.
All right. We'll move on to the fiscal officer report. Ken Dietz, you're up.
Thank you. First of all, the financial reports are finished at the end of February. As we all know, we have the real estate collections coming in January and February. So the revenues are very high for those 2 months and obviously exceed what we had estimated. We do have some March dollars coming in from the county that look like they're going to be pretty much on target of what we expected. Going back to last year, I thought maybe our revenues would be slightly down on real estate collections because of the COVID-19 and, you know, the economy, the way it was operating. But it looks like we're fairly close to what we have been receiving over the past couple of years with a little bit of valuation increases. We don't get all of that money, but we do get some of that. So looks like our revenues are going to be pretty much in line with the real estate over the whole year. The expenditures are less than what we had expected, but we also have a lot of bills coming in March, and that will eventually catch up by the middle of the year, sometime in June, whatever, and hopefully we're going to be under what we estimated as expenditures. So that's looking good. The adoption of the 2021 permanent summary budget. First of all, I'd like to thank my assistant, Debbie Hucker. She worked on this diligently with the department heads and administration, thanking all of them. We put together the best plan we could. Looking back on last year, we didn't have a lot of information that we thought we could use this year. We try to estimate what we could do because of some of the advantages we have from House Bill 481. So our permanent budget is suggesting an increase of a little bit over 5 million from our temporary budget, which we worked on last June and July. Some of the reasons for that is the revenues from the TIF. The 1994 TIF came in higher than we expected because we thought that the economy was not going to dictate that. They did come in. So we increased in the our fund that takes care of the TIF revenues. We increased that by $2 million to give to the school district because, as you recall, every year I usually come back at the end when we have to pay the school district and say we just underestimated a little bit, which we should have, but we were pleasantly surprised. So out of that $5 million more, $2 million is related to that. Another, I'm going to say at least 1.5 million is because we're allowed to take monies out of our TIF fund, which is very, very substantial right now. And we can save money in our public works. We were able to save money in our fire and rescue last year because of that. So that accounts for almost all the 5 million increase from our temporary budget to our permanent budget for 2021. As I say every year, and it's proven every year, we will come in under that budget. There are many areas which we will cut. There are some projects which we will probably not do. So I think it's reasonable to say that this year's expenditures will probably be fairly close to what they were in 2020. Maybe an increase of 3 to 5%, which is usually what we look at. So like I said, on that summary budget for 2021, the permanent summary budget is $51,685,045. And any questions you have, I'd be glad to answer them. But I would like to get approval for passage of that budget.
Dee, Andrew, any questions for Ken?
No.
No, I already spoke to Ken, and I'm very impressed as always with our fiscal department's performance.
With that, do I have a motion?
I move to adopt the 2021 permanent summary budget as presented by the fiscal officer.
Second.
Mr. Pappas,
Yes.
Mrs. Stone,
Yes.
Mr. Girth,
Yes.
thank you. And I think we have minutes to approve from January the 7th, 2021.
I move.
Oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead,
Dee.
Andrew. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, go
No,
ahead.
really, you go ahead. No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I move to approve the minutes for January 7th, 2021.
Second.
Mr. Pappas,
Yes.
Mrs. Stone,
Yes.
Mr. Girth,
Yes.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate your hard work.
Thank you, everyone, for your hard work on that.
Law Director, anything from Margaret?
I have no report. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you, Paul, Planning and Zoning Department.
Hi, good evening. The first item under our agenda is the Comprehensive Plan Steering Team and We Thrive appointments. Last month, you appointed members to our Comprehensive Plan Steering Team, and we accidentally or inadvertently left off several members, including our trustee liaison. So we are asking that they officially be added. Steve Edwards, Don Perry, Zach Peterson, and trustee liaison D Stone for our comprehensive plan. And then back in December, we inadvertently left off Aaron Cox, who we recommended to be appointed to the We Thrive Committee. So there's a motion to make those appointments official.
And Paul, if I may interject, we did have an email from Don Perry this week who stated that he would not like to serve on the committee at this time.
Okay, thank you, PJ. So we'll just have Steve Edwards and Zach Peterson, and then
Okay.
trustee Stone.
Okay. I move to appoint Steve Edwards, Zach Peterson, and D Stone to the 2021 Anderson Township Comprehensive Plan Update Steering Team.
Second.
Mr. Pappas,
Yes.
Mrs. Stone,
Yes.
Mr. Girth,
Yes.
And I also move to appoint Aaron Cox to the 2021 We Thrive Anderson Committee.
Second.
Mr. Pappas,
Yes, Ken.
like seeing your picture on the screen. Mrs. Stone,
Yes.
Mr. Girth,
Yes.
Thank you.
I was going to say closer, Ken, but I just can't get that close to my iPad, so forgive me. Give me a minute.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, so the next item is for the Rambling Hills Sidewalk. As you know, our Patterson Road Sidewalk project had to be modified. And thank you, Steve, for putting a graphic on the presentation. The area in red, this is Patterson Road. This is an area from Blue Crest up to Woodridge, had to be removed from our Patterson Road Sidewalk project because the township was unable to secure easements due to stormwater drainage concerns. So we are still moving forward with the area that's noted in green. That would be from Woodridge up to Beachmont Avenue. That is still moving forward. So in order to connect the existing sidewalk on Patterson and connect residents from Sherwood up to Beachmont Avenue, we're looking at different alternatives. And the closest alternative that we could come to, which is a parallel route, is Rambling Hills. There have also been recent concerns of speeding on Rambling Hills and other pedestrian safety on Rambling Hills. This was also suggested not only by staff, but also our Transportation Advisory Committee. So before you tonight, we have a request to enter into a contract with Stantec, who did, I'm sorry, not Stantec, Kleinger's, who did the engineering on Pattison, to have them do a preliminary engineering for a sidewalk on Rambling Hills to determine if a sidewalk is feasible, what side of the road would be the best option, and then potential costs. So before you tonight is a motion to do preliminary engineering. And I'll note that this is a township street. So the preliminary engineering, or the request for funding, is for only preliminary engineering. It is not for funding to construct the sidewalk. That has yet to be determined. But once we have preliminary engineering in place, we will be able to seek alternatives to fund the construction. So I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have on this project.
No questions. With that, I move to authorize staff to enter into an agreement with Kleinger's Group to provide engineering services to design a plan for the Rambling Hill Drive sidewalk project for a cost not to exceed $37,700 using TIF funds in the 2021 Anderson Trails budget.
Second.
Mr. Pappas,
Yes.
Mrs. Stone,
Yes.
Mr. Girth.
Yes.
Thank you. And Vicki, I apologize. I did not print off the updated agenda, but I have two other items. I have one for the planning partnership and one for the Arbor Day resolution. Which one do you have next?
Paul, the next item is the planning partnership. The
Planning partnership.
Arbor Day resolution was actually under presentation and recognitions earlier, so.
Okay, so we can do that next. Okay.
Yes.
So the past couple of years, so actually since 2019, we have not participated in the Hamilton County Planning Partnership. Previous to that, we were with this organization. And this group was meant to show a united planning effort for communities in Hamilton County. As part of a membership fee, the township and other participating communities receive assistance from Hamilton County Regional Planning staff, such as the Census 2020 preparation, training for elected officials, as well as some of our zoning boards. Also, the county was involved with the development of a model zoning text, and then other items on a regional planning effort. We chose not to participate because we felt like the fee was high and we were not receiving the services for the amount of fee. This year, because of the pandemic, they are offering communities a 50% reduction in that fee, which for the township would be $2,733. So we're requesting to rejoin the planning partnership for 2021, give it another try, work with the planning partnership to ensure that, you know, we're receiving services that are beneficial for the township and also how we can partner with the county in this. So we have a motion before you tonight.
I'll take it, D.
I don't think.
I move to join the Hamilton County Planning Partnership for 2021.
Second.
Mr. Pappas,
Yes.
Mrs. Stone,
Yes.
Mr. Girth.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then last but not least, by Tree Committee and their efforts to ensure township meets the requirements to become a Tree City USA or maintain that membership. And again, big thanks to our Tree Committee. Bruce Burnell is the chair. He was on the call tonight. Tim Kloppenberg, Joe Wilging, PJ and Suzanne for our staff. And I think there were other Tree Committee members on the call. So thank you for all their diligence. But each year, the trustees must pass a resolution declaring a certain day to honor Arbor Day in the township. So this year, Arbor Day is scheduled for April the 30th, 21. So there's a resolution before you.
I move to designate April 30th, 2021 as Arbor Day in Anderson Township.
Second.
Mr. Pappas,
Yes.
Mrs. Stone,
Yes.
Mr. Girth.
Yes.
All right, thank you all. That's all we had, unless you had other questions for our department.
No, thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul. Lieutenant Dan McElroy, I think you're up.
Yes, good evening. I have a liquor license transfer request to present to the trustees. This is for Quencher Drive-Through located at 6720 Clough Pike. The new owner, Craig Slade, is the one requesting the transfer. You both submitted a letter answering the questions that are put forward to him as far as hours and days of operation, types of food service, etc., which I feel he answered sufficiently. I also met with Mr. Slade, and he wasn't going to be with us tonight. That's why he submitted the letter. But he's looking forward to being working with the township and being a cooperative neighbor. So we have no complaints and no reservations.
With that, I move not to object to a liquor license transfer request for Clough Creek Drive-Through LLC, Quencher Drive-Through, DBA Quencher Drive-Through, located at 6720 Pike.
Second.
Mr. Pappas,
Yes.
Mrs. Stone,
Yes.
Mr. Girth.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's all I had.
Thanks, Dan. Public Works, Eric, your turn.
Thanks, Josh. This evening, we have the 2021 Street Rehab Program. On March 9th, the Public Works Department opened the bids for the Township's 2021 Street Rehab Program project. The published estimate for the work was $1,700,000, and the recommended bid total came in at $1,464,608.90. The department reviewed the bids for content and completeness, excuse me, to establish the best and lowest responsive bidder. Based on that analysis, I would like to award the project to the Barrett Paving Materials Incorporated in the amount of $1,464,608.90, plus a 10% contingency of $146,460.89 as recommended to cover any conditions outside the original scope of the work. And that is before you this evening for your consideration.
Thank you, Eric. I move to accept the bid of $1,464,608.90 from Barrett Paving Materials, Inc., deemed to be the most responsive and responsible bidder for the Anderson Township 2021 Street Rehab Program project in accordance with the bid plans and specifications, together with a 10% contingency for a maximum appropriation of $1,611,069.79 in road and bridge funds. Further, this board hereby authorizes and directs the township administrator to give timely notice of award to the contractor and, after consultation with the law director, to enter into contract with Barrett Paving Materials, Inc. in accordance with their bid for the Anderson Township 2021 Street Rehab Program project.
Second.
Mr. Pappas,
Yes.
Mrs. Stone,
Yes.
Mr. Girth.
Well done, D. Yes.
Way to go, Dave. That
Thank
was
you.
a long one. That was huge.
Thanks, everybody.
Sitting next to you. So much easier.
Fire and Rescue, Chief Martin, anything to report?
Good evening. The fire department does not have anything to bring before the board this evening.
Very good, thank you. Then we will move to Vicky and Township's report.
Yes, good evening. Mr. Magna has the first item to present to the board this evening.
Thank you. I'm a little still laughing over Eric's presentation. I wrote that memo. Hopefully I didn't write it that way, but you're welcome for the length because that's all my writing in there. So I enjoyed that. What I have is a fire station 6 women's restroom and bunk room renovation. Fire chief came to me last year and said we need to add a dedicated women's room to the fire station. I contacted our architect KBA and got a price to produce construction documents and bid documents. The price for the work is $19,200 plus a contingency of 10% of $1,920. For your consideration, you have the motion in front of you. I can answer any questions. Thank you.
I move that this board hereby accept the proposal of $19,200 from KBA Inc. for the Fire Station 6 Women's Restroom and Bunk Room Renovation Project, together with a 10% contingency for a maximum appropriation of $21,120 funded out of 1994 TIF funds. And further, this board hereby authorizes and directs the Township Administrator, after consultation with the Law Director, to enter into the contract with KBA Incorporated for the Fire Station 6 Women's Restroom and Bunk Room Renovation Project.
Second.
Mr. Pappas,
Yes, Kendi.
Stone,
Yes.
Mr. Girth,
Yes.
Thank you.
The next item we have for the board's consideration this evening is our membership in the Center for Local Government. For those that are on the line, the Center for Local Government is a consortium of about 57 governments within this immediate area. It includes cities, villages, townships, a couple of counties, and a fire district. And together, the group shares best practices. We also share data as far as whether it is salary data, whether it's benefit data. There's also a opportunity for what are known as spot surveys, where member governments can come up with a list of questions about any topic and send it out through the Center for Local Government and obtain quick information from other jurisdictions on topics that are impactful to our residents. Center for Local Government also provides training programs for both elected officials and township staff, staff of city villages. We also benefit from a mutual aid pact. There are 35 local governments that are involved in that, and I know Eric has been very active in meetings with the Center for Local Government and peer governments recently. We also have that mutual aid pact. Should any severe weather blow through the community, everyone comes to each other's aid, which is highly beneficial. Suzanne Parker is also involved in the Center for Local Government Benefits Pool, which we benefit from as far as health insurance for our employees. So I would ask that the board consider renewing its membership with the Center for Local Government in 2021. One of the other benefits that we derive is a program called the Leadership Academy. We have a number of staff that have been involved in the Leadership Academy, and it prepares over the course of 6 weeks, prepares future leaders for government positions. Mr. Ginty has been accepted into the 2022 program, and Jennifer Sanders has been accepted into the 2021 program. So we applaud them for getting into that and look forward to what they can learn from those sessions. So with that, I would ask the board's consideration of our membership.
I move to authorize renewal of the township's membership in the Center for Local Government for 2021 at the annual rate of $3,825.
Second.
Mr. Pappas,
Yes, Kendi.
Stone,
Yes.
Mr. Girth.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next item is the board's consideration of a annual contribution to American Legion Post 318. The Ohio Revised Code provides for such a contribution, and it's for observing Memorial Day. American Legion 318, they do travel from cemetery to cemetery throughout the township and provide a brief ceremony at each of the cemeteries to honor the veterans that are buried there. We also work closely with the Legion as far as a Memorial Day ceremony here at Anderson Center. I will let you know that last year that that ceremony was virtual due to COVID. We have been in communication with Legion membership at this point to see if they are interested in doing an in-person ceremony this year on Memorial Day, and we are waiting for guidance from them. We will either do it in person or we'll do something virtual again. So that decision has yet to be made, but it will be posted on our website when we have a program set up. So with that, I would ask for the board's consideration of the motion before it.
I move to authorize a Memorial Day contribution of $100 American Legion Post 318 for the purpose of properly observing Memorial Day with the township as permitted by the Ohio Revised Code section 307.66.
Second.
I would very much appreciate your yes vote on this, Mr. Pappas.
You enthusiastically have my yes vote on it, Mr. Dees.
Stone,
Yes.
Mr. Girth,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you. The last item we have for the board's consideration this evening is an item arising from executive session discussion. And this would be the authorization of hiring fire and rescue personnel. There's a motion in your packet.
I move to authorize the Fire and Rescue Department to proceed with hiring 6 replacement personnel that will bring the department to their full contingency of 66 uniform frontline personnel. The following individuals will be hired at the rank of firefighter 1 to include a 1-year probationary period. Those are Ryan Merrill, Logan Howard, Zachary Camburn, Mark Holmes, Charles White, and Grant Howell.
Okay.
Mr. Pappas,
Yes.
Mrs. Stone,
Yes.
Mr. Girth,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you. That's all we have for the board this evening.
Congratulations to our new firefighters.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, everybody. Our next meeting will be April 15th, and as Mr. Pappas alluded earlier, hopefully that one will be in person. And hopefully by our next meeting, maybe we'll get some of that free money that the federal government's handing out. Get a little windfall like good folks at the city of Cincinnati. Until that time, have a great evening, everyone. Thank you. I would move to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Pappas,
Third.
Mrs.
Yes.
Stone, Mr. Girth,
Yes.
thank you.
Good night.
Thank you, everyone.